Hello, this is another video for you to watch and learn. Performance management and development. In this presentation, I would like to go through HR strategies again, link them to performance management, if you allow me. I'm using some different perspective, but at the end, you are going to get information about performance management systems, what kind of challenges they have got. Then approach this system is performance management and development. If you consider as a system, you will learn about them. And I would like to give my things as a presenter. This is my profile. You can always find in the Valspa University. Yeah. If you allow me, this is the overview, critical approach, HR and management systems practices, and this is our textbook, chapter 8. I'm reviewing today in this video. The importance of aligning HR practices with strategic goals and what critical reflections and real-life examples can be bridge theory with practice, a little bit like real-life, hypothetical real-life projects. Even though the project organizations are real, but I create simulation between them. Therefore, they are real, but scenarios are not real. Okay. In that sense, first of all, let's start by establishing what we mean by HR strategy. Because if your HR strategy has got performance management systems, then underneath, you need to approach that one. And strategic human resource management is about aligning HR practices. Therefore, you need to adjust and align your performance management system accordingly. For instance, consider how a tech company might harness or use its creative work practices in order to create more innovative and creativity. Obviously, I don't need to mention about this one, isn't it? Innovation and creativity is about like they are creating new product, new services, new technologies, or new management techniques even could be innovation. Innovation is not secularly, restricted with product, but this is not our subject. Anyway, in academic terms, if you allow me to approach resource-based view, this is one of the theory, resource-based view, suggests that human capital itself is a unique source that can drive success, and therefore that tech company, a hypothetical tech company, might harness its work practices, and definitely they can foster innovation. Similarly, there is a like strategic fit discussion here, and that strategic fit model is like should remind us that internal HR policies must mirror external market demands. In that sense, strategic, I change my verbs. I change my nouns now. I started to use external demands rather than strategic human resource, strategic strategic aims or goals. Because all of them needs to link to the external point, isn't it? So the world is changing and innovation is inevitable. If you set innovation as a strategic development, yes, this is correct. However, if you focus on the price leadership for, let's say, best price or optimum price or top price, this is your strategy. But whatever you put as strategy should adjusted by HR policies, and you need to adjust. You need to mirror external demands, external factors. According to those, you need to adjust HR policies. Ask yourself, in what ways does an organization you are familiar with ideal example of this alignment? So this is my question. First question, please, I'm happy to read your idea and we can discuss, we can improve your idea, or we can develop your maturity in this perspective if you bring. Okay. My question is, in what ways does an organization you are familiar with ideal example of this alignment? So do you know any organization? Do you have any experience? So this is my question. Okay, let's go to slides. Okay, definition is here alignment. This slide was alignment. Alignment between strategic human resource management and HR practices, business strategy. So hypothesis, okay, maybe I should mention that one a little bit earlier. I designed this slide according to the hypothesis because you are coming end of your study and you need to prepare some kind of final year project, or let's say dissertation. So hypothesis, research questions is important. Therefore, I put here, properly align HR strategies lead to increase performance and competitive differentiation. This is first hypothesis. I hope it makes sense. All over this slide is offering this hypothesis, and I would like to stick with this hypothesis later on, as much as I can do. And next slide is about learning objectives. What we are going to learn, our objective is today understanding the link between strategic HR practices and organizational performance, explore motivation theories. I didn't intend to give motivational theories here, but I find it's really useful because performance system is about rewarding, and I think it's good to know here as well, good to briefly mention about explore motivational theories. Here, really important. Then always I would like to approach everything, whatever I mentioned, critically analyze them in terms of performance appraisal and performance management systems. Please ignore that recruitment strategies here. Okay, please ignore. They are not mentioned here today. And discuss predominant theories and authors shaping HR strategies, identifying cause-effect dynamics. This is literally hypothesis. Okay, hypothesis is a causative relation, checking causative relation. You will see under the terms of hypothesis and reflect and apply how theoretical insight translate in real life organization practices. This is going to be Q&A between this slide. I keep asking you some questions, so these are the reflections. Okay, so in that sense, the idea of performance management system is coming from the goal setting theory, and maybe Kaizen, maybe you know about continuous improvement models. The theory behind is clearly saying that measurable objectives is that by establishing specific targets and providing constant feedback. So in that sense, you need to create some measurable objectives, then give feedback and provide targets, and obviously provide feedback as well. And individuals are more likely to direct their efforts. So this is the goal setting and continuous improvement, the combination of these two theory underline the objectives not only outline what you will learn today, but also reflect the fundamental idea that behind well-defined goals are essential to performance management processes today. And let's start from real example. Look at how Google HR innovation mirrors strategic alignment theories in practice. Okay, so I think I don't need to mention about Google strategic business strategy is innovation. They innovate everywhere. They innovate even in their HR models. How they do? Google's prolific HR innovation is coming the Project Aristotle and Project Oxygen. There are two projects they have. Even they add some idea to literature with these projects. How? Okay, let's start from beginning. For example, Google introduced a suite of practice under the umbrella of people analytics, where decisions about recruiting, manager training, team dynamics are driven by rigorous data and control experiments rather than top down, rules or orders. What I mean with this one, because we always has got like wisdom in our organizations, because managers and big managers know better and better, and they know who will be the next manager better than anyone else in the organization. So Google Analytics is people analytics is not belong to that one. It is coming from some evidence of some like data evidence. It is based on data evidence. Therefore, this is really cutting edge and innovative, because all traditional way of appointing managers or recruiting people or approaching the team dynamics change now. It is not anymore based on conventional wisdom. So for example, Project Oxygen, where Google analyzed extensive data because they collected the data, identified the key behaviors that differentiate effective managers from less effective managers. So the findings were then used to shape management training programs. So in that sense, they innovate the approach. They change the mentality, which meant this is common sense actually, but in the practice, in organizations, it doesn't work that way. Okay, therefore, I want to include this slide. So they change their innovation. So what does it mean? Where is it coming from? The performance management systems, as already mentioned, they change the way of improving people, and it means they are measuring the performance of the system. I hope I didn't confuse you too much on this one. So this is performance management system, okay, in HR. They apply and it is working based on the real data. Obviously, this is the advantage of their being their technology company. So another project they have is Project Aristotle. They took a deep dive into the team dynamics, because in organizations work with teams, and that teams are generating bigger teams and organizations obviously itself. Therefore, we need to understand the team dynamics, and there's a theories behind those. I would like to ask you to read because it's not our core topic today. And examining hundreds of teams to determine what they did to Google. They examined hundreds of teams to determine the elements that most significant to contribute to the high performance. So they find out that psychological safety, which is actually people eliminating the fear of negative consequences of taking risks, is one of the crucial element in the high performance. So obviously, if your organization is based on innovation, you need to bring people on board to put their idea in the project, in the innovation. But if you have an organization like Mechanic Way, next slide, I will go through that one. In that sense, you don't need people taking risk of sharing their idea or so. But Google is really strategic alignment, is really aligned with their approaches. Okay, so therefore, I hope it is really helpful. And another one is another articulation I would like to bring here in your mind. First organization is, please forgive me because these two examples are inspired from another chapter, is Bratton from Reward, but they are very clear and easy to capture the core element of the strategy. I think, I will go first about strategy. One of the theory is, you can find in 1,000 different theories, but this is the Michael Porter, one of the predominant strategic scholar approach, Porter's generic strategies approach. As you can see, if you want to be cost leader, or if you want to be differentiation, if you want to focus on differentiation focus or cost focus, so this is the matrix, and maybe you can find different things as well in the literature. For sure, you can use them, but which one of the strategy you are going to embrace in the organization is really important. For example, productive engineering, first organization here, and see fresh food is another one. I inspire from them from Bratton's textbook, and so their core strategies, like productive engineering, restructure their compensation framework so that bonuses and variable pay were directly ties to the key performance indicators. Let's say, okay, this is my present hypothetical organization, such as production efficiency, reduction in the waste, and innovative problem solving. So in that sense, you can say they would like to be cost leadership because efficiency, reduction in the waste. Can you imagine? This is their performance management objectives, is compensation framework, like kind of bonuses and variable payments were directly tied to the key product production efficiency and reduction in waste. So when I see that organization mission and vision, I can assume their HR strategies in performance management systems are based on this kind of approach for individual. For instance, engineers who develop streamlined processes and introduce breakthrough techniques were rewarded with performance-linked bonuses. This clear cause effect relation not only incentivized high standards, but also promoted cultural continuous improvement, and it is going to bring that cost leadership. And the idea was simple. When employees see their individual performance and innovation directly impact their earnings, they become more invested in pursuing excellence. This, in turn, I presume, supported because all these systems are designed with good intention. Okay, so something could be other way around. Then you need to sit and you need to adjust your things. So in turn, supported the company's long-term strategic goal by, this is the idea of employee of sustaining high quality production and operational agility. So then people, workers will get promoted and continuously promote the culture of continuous improvement, and this is supported by performance management systems. Now, a little bit like performance management systems are a little bit like confusing because I'm going to because I just said development is part of performance management system. I just said rewarding their performance is performance management system as well. So I think that this is a rightly pointed that there's something we need to distinct later on in this presentation. But before going that depth, I would like to see fresh food as well. Fresh food, I made this one hypothetically a globally integrated seafood business because these organizations are really big globally integrated because they sell everyone every part of world this consuming seafoods and okay, let's start. Their adoption is payment scheme to mirror its strategic commitment, okay, to quality, sustainability, and operational excellence. At Sea Fresh Food, the compensation strategy went beyond simply rewarding sales figures because this is my assumption, okay. I made it up hypothetically, I need to say, okay. The compensation strategy went beyond the simply rewarding sales figures or production volumes. Instead, bonus RR were aligned with metrics such as quality control, timely delivery, and sustainable resourcing practices. So in that sense, this organization meant to have in their mission and vision organizational targets is something is like differentiating or adding new ideas or innovating more lean perspectives. So does it make sense? I don't know. So this is part of a alignment between HR strategies and HR practices and organizational strategies. And you may say it is normal, but it is not. Fresh Food is an organization is based on this sector. Really, this sector is and sea products generally labor-intensive operations around the conveyor belt, with workers stationed producers give minimum training and offer very monotonous work. So if you bring them something like bonuses were aligned with metrics, stringent quality control, timely deliveries, sustainable resourcing practices. So it is going to bring a new era for this organization. Okay, this is going to be innovative for that sector itself because they don't do this kind of approach in the sector. In both instances, payment scheme is a financial tool HR or organization will use. Not we seen that payment is not isolated. It needs to be linked to the strategies, and it needs to integrate it into the broader strategic framework. Or cost focus, employees' earning were directly linked to the organizational goals. And I'm expecting to see maybe mission and vision statements of seafood element of differentiation because the supporters generate strategies set a bit very earlier than like green strategies are exist, but you can implement sustainability and green markets wasn't exist probably when it is designed. So this is only theory. You can bring something else. Okay, layer by layer you can add up. But for example, what McDonald's do, they would like to be cost leadership. They would like to give always cheap product to anyone if we compare to average anyone else. Okay, let's say IKEA, what they do, they don't offer cheap, but what they sell is optimized quality, optimized cost and price with trendy look. So as you can see, this is the matrix. Is not covering everything because the world is changing and you need to adapt that one. Okay, this is the only example I gave you to give you the basic theory. Okay, let's go to the next slide about motivation because people need to get some motivation to move actually, not like to do the job. First one is first two hypotheses over motivational theories. Maslow hierarchy of needs. If basic needs aren't met, employees won't be receptive to higher level motivators. Okay, so this is H1. Herzberg theory, this is the hygiene theory, is called hygiene theory as well. And maybe I should write here hygiene theory as well. I missed that one. Distinguishes between hygiene factors and intrinsic motivators. So it means from this hypothesis, hygiene theory is like it is like basic things like you are improving the light or in the room. Then you are expecting people working hard. You are eliminating the noise in the office. You are expecting them to work better. So this is the hygiene theories. Please read more about this. This is the first slide. Okay, next slide is another one is room expectancy theory, the connection between efforts, performance, and reward. It means as if I throw a stone, would it work? Will I get any benefit or reward? So if you are gonna throw that stone. So imagine scenarios are where a company implements a bonus scheme that seems fair. I presume it is fair, okay, to bridge the gap between effort and expected reward. This disconnect could lead to demotivation. Okay. People not will get motivated in that sense because they will say, I'm not gonna If I work hard, I'm not gonna get reward for that one. Okay. So it is really important, and equity theory is focus on fairness. Oh yeah, this is the part, and balance in input and output ratio of employees. So if you are gonna put, you need to measure that output ratios of the employees, what they gonna get. It should be, the accordingly. It is clear motivation needs to be addressed thoughtfully. Okay, it drives performance, retention, and organizational growth. But how you are going to deliver them is important point. Okay, I hope motivational theories and hypotheses are okay. And incentives and rewards. Okay, this is although today focus is not passing the chapter content, on passing the chapter content, it is important to note that text also covers the role of incentives and rewards. Because remember, this presentation is about chapter 8, Marchington, Mike et al. Textbook. Rewards. Okay, then I decided to give them incentives, rewards, and recognition. Overview of reward systems are one element of performance management. Okay, because we need to understand that one a little bit. And financial incentives could be payments, maybe bonuses, maybe share options, because we've seen some organizations using that one as well. And non-financial rewards exist as well. Okay, then you need to consider them as well, because in some instances we've seen these non-financial rewards are passing or or eliminating the trap of monetize incentives. Monetize incentives has got some critics. Okay, please, I need to ask you to read, because if we go that much deep, I don't think so. I may manage to finish this slide sometime in 1 hours time. And so in that sense, this is the theory is rewards, although rewards might initially seems like a narrow focus, the chapter is integrates from expectancy theory, reinforcement theory, equity theory to explain how incentives works. I think I didn't mention about reinforcement theory, which is emphasizing that behaviors followed by rewards are more likely to be repeat. Expectancy theory is employees are motivated when they believe their efforts will result in desirable rewards. If it is under the desirable rewards, they are not gonna go. Okay. And reinforcement theory is expectation again, and more likely to repeat. Okay, people behavior. And equity theory is fairness in the reward distribution. And non-financial contribution we already mentioned. And yeah, I think this is the really good introduction, or a really brief introduction, incentive, rewards, and recognition. But although it is really big subject. And okay, right, okay, it's flying. I think I missed the fly down earlier. Okay, anyway. Okay, this slide is about performance management and performance appraisal. Because there's earlier I said, there is a slightly confusing between them, because I keep saying development. I keep saying, on the other hand, getting payment. Okay, so these are two things Therefore, really important to give this definition. Performance appraisal evaluate and periodic, evaluative and periodic, focusing on past performance. So this is the question you should have in your mind, because what is the difference between performance management and performance appraisal? Performance management, on the other hand, is a continuous development process with regular feedbacks. So whereas performance appraisal tends to be periodic, dynamic process, performance management is a continuous and dynamic process. So think of this way: rather than waiting for an annual review, a company that embraces quarterly check-ins can quickly pinpoint issues, adapt goals, and stimulate ongoing improvements. So if you allow me, the hypothesis could be a continuous performance management process helps preemptive challenges, ultimately leading to a more responsive and resilient organization. As you can say, I start to say different terms, resilience, because you are really proactively measuring the employees, reviewing their perspective. Then you are creating more resilience in the organization, resilience in the organization. My question is going to be here. Please reflect on how your own experience with continuous feedback compare with those annual reviews or anything else related with this. Please put your idea and ask in the classroom or in the chat here. And what impacts have you observed? So these are my questions. Okay. So now, okay, this is the flying object come. I think, yeah, this is the flying object. In that sense, can you see appraising performance and measuring is here on the one of the small piece of the performance management and development and mother hub. Okay, this is the mother hub, and the rest of them is like really they are important, but in the middle, this coming here, resourcing and talent management is part of performance management and development. Induction, recruitment is part, which I jump today because I thought it's not enough. Well-being, counseling and support, and enhancing and reinforcing performance standard. This is the reviewing, regularly reviewing and giving them feedback quickly. So it's very important. So I just keep saying that feedback, and I will go for that one as well in a second. So a hypothesis: performance management, regular performance management can preemptively address issues. Proactive, this is a proactive action, and enhance overall organization adaptability and resilience. Okay, I use them as a synonym. Oops, I will jump next slide here. Okay. Yes, performance appraisal systems. Okay, in classic way, we know 360-degree feedback, which incorporates reviews from various sources to minimize bias. And for example, we have really good example from IBM. IBM multi-source feedbacks. They use multi-source feedback system. Not only evaluates past performance, but also identify the development opportunities or development sections to enhance future performance. They use that system in HRM. And notice the cause effect here, effective appraisal process, which one you are going to select maybe combination of them you are gonna select. It's gonna create one kind of like percentage in the slide. Okay, as you can see, we don't know which one what. Okay, just randomly I made them up. Doesn't mean 360 is 10%. Oh, sorry, 58%. So just made it up randomly. Yeah, this is the other things. Okay, I don't think so. I need to cover that one, but you need to understand appraisal systems has got really small part of performance development, performance management development. Yeah, and feedback, a little bit feedback. Feedback is really important, and the central role of timely and constructive feedbacks are important. In chapter 8, again, this chapter emphasizes timely and constructive management and communication important. Constructive communication is important, which allows employees to recognize what is going to do is allow employees to recognize their achievement, understand areas for improvement. If you don't give them feedback, how they are going to understand? This feedback is not about like your own personal idea or biased idea. This is about how they are aligned with strategic targets. You need to set the rule before meeting, before giving feedback. So this is our organization strategy, but this is what you did. And then is it short or is it extra, or is there something you need to change? All of them is coming from there. Also, formal feedback mechanism, schedules, appraisals, and informal practices like regular check-ins, important. Self-assessments and peer feedback are also discussed as ways to create a more holistic views of performance. Together, these practices establish a culture, organizational culture. We call open communication, establishing an open. So we can. Feedback is about communication, obviously, and if you have open communication, open feedback systems, this is a culture. Okay, so you are going to change your organizational culture if you want. If you don't want, it's a different method. Okay, so in the feedback theory is closely linked to the social learning theory. The idea is in the theory is individuals learn from both the positive reinforcement and criticism they receive. This is the presumption, okay? When you are talking, when we are bringing something, what is the theory behind is really important to understand. Whether delivered through the formal channels or informal channels, it could change the effect. Effective feedback acts as a corrective mechanism or not. Sometimes it can create a grunge. It can create a hate, you know. So this is really important to set your organization. In the context of performance management systems, is really important timely and constructive communications will improve the organizational mechanism. This is the part really essential. Okay, if you don't have that kind of culture in organization, yeah, you need to start to think to change the culture first, then establish it. It is really your organization needs to get some maturity, it seems for me. Okay. So this is my assumption, actually, the last thing, not empirically tested. So linking performance to development. I think we've seen the reward, the payment they get. Also now about the development, because when you give them feedback, there is a gap between the employee and between organization strategy. Then you are gonna diagnose the problem, what they need, these people need, how performance review identify the training and development needs. So in the interview, in the review, in the meeting, you need to identify the training needs. Okay. So creating a personalized development plan, really important. And the role of coaching, maybe mentoring, career planning should be part of your organizational norms. If you don't have coaching, if you don't have mentoring, if you don't have career planning, performance management system will not work. Similar to feedback system. Okay, if you don't have open culture, it's not gonna work. Okay, so the role of coaching we mentioned, and I didn't mention, but it is really important. These are the big different subjects, and maybe you need to do some extra reading on them as well. The cycle of performance improvement and growth is kind of cycle. Okay, this is the cycle: improvement and growth, improvement and growth. Maybe you can assign people mentoring who were a mentee before. Maybe they are gonna mentoring later on when they growth. Okay, so this is the part behind all this. Behind all this approach, I mean, this slide is what is happening is self-regulation theory. Is that theory is suggesting that individuals monitor their own performance and compare it against personal organizational standards, uh, organizational strategies, and they ultimately adjust accordingly. Again, there's a presumption here behind. People has got a very well intended and they want to change, they would like to improve, and they would like to collaborate, they would like to cooperate with organizational strategies. Yeah, I think I'm gonna jump to the next slide. I think performance and payment are, if you have linked them, one critical component must be discussed, that is ensuring fairness. Because you need to give people a fair, okay, fair distribution according to what they work, how they work. Also, you are going to add up some extra bonuses or rewards or incentives or non-monetary incentives. It doesn't matter. You need to distribute all this share according to their performance, and that performance management reward system should be clearly defined, and everyone needs to understand these people are getting extra payment or extra recognition by managers because they manage and they are successful. And so in that sense, payment gap is really important to understand, and you need to justify. You shouldn't create a differentiation between different same people doing same things without doing extra effort, and it is not going to helpful. The fairness is not only strengthen the trust but also reinforces the overall effectiveness of performance management systems. So feedback, performance management, fairness, and feedback, the previous one was culture, organizational culture. Yeah, all of them is important. And this is the, I don't need to mention, this is the theory, is equity theory, equal payment for equal jobs. So another slide is here. Another slide is integrating performance management with overall HR strategy. I need to ask you to read case examples from the chapter because I made productive engineering and see fresh foods for you, but You need to read some extra, okay? So the performance management is not a stand-alone process. It sits at the heart of the wider HR strategies when performance appraisal, feedback, and development initiatives are integrated with as well as recruitment, which I couldn't cover today. Because in the recruitment training, this exists as well. Similar things for development because you are checking employee is matching with the organization strategy, their knowledge or abilities matching, or they are suitable to improve. Then you are going to full offer the new recruitees training. And you are going to create some career planning at the beginning. Maybe it's going to be draft or rough planning, but it's going to be honed later on because it's difficult to estimate people you just met. So organizations achieve a cohesive systems that drives long-term success. Our textbooks with the relevant chapters illustrate several case examples where this is internal alignment result in a market improvement in both employee performance and organizational outcomes. So these examples help to demonstrate how clear cause-effective relationship from backbone of an effective HR strategies. So this is in just 2 minutes. What I read is from my slides deep note. Sorry for that one, but I just really struggle to keep attention the same time. Okay, so our textbook is offering something for future trends because we always assume everything is going to be the same, but it is not. And digital transformation is coming in appraisal process. Google did that one, increase and focus on real-time feedback and personalization of development plan. And the role of analytics and data-driven decisions are important. The evolving nature of work, and because now we are people working from home, nature of work is changing now, as you can see. Yeah, like future trends are important, and you need to adapt the performance management systems accordingly. And you may think that why I need performance management system? I don't have career to managing people or HRM. No, don't think that way because if you are working somewhere, then you are going to be line manager at the end. And line managers needs to understand all these. You need to aware of performance management systems, and you may need to do meeting and appraisal meetings with your employee. You need to embrace feedback systems, open communication culture at work. And so more things coming up as well. So some of the critical, because I always insist on critical discussions, and so please make sure in your assignment and in your dissertation you always have critical perspectives. You need the approach, and you need to approach all the factors. Okay, so common pitfalls in performance management systems: inadequate feedback frequency, again, bias in performance assessment. I didn't mention that one before. Biases in appraisal. Maybe you like someone more than others. Maybe you have some halo effect. Maybe you have other things. I need to invite you to read about these biases. Different bias types exist because people are biased, and we are making decision not always rational. We are making decision on the base of our biases. So in that sense, if you are if you are measuring people's performance, you shouldn't be biased. You need to be objective. So you need to be aware that what kind of biases exist in the human mind. So in that, another challenge is resistant to change or unclear objectives. So because people are likely saying that it is not clear. My object is not clear. It's not clear. You need to give me some numbers, something else, and I can make this meeting with you or appraisal system. So this is resistance. So you need to give them some clear objectives, what they need to do, and one of the challenges, unable to create strategies to overcome So you need to be one step before than what you did. So let's say, this is strategic thinking, okay? The importance of continuous review and adaptation, really important. Continuously need to review timely. So in that sense, please don't shy away from discussing potential pitfalls of performance management systems. Drawing a theory, this is drawing theory of change and bias theory. It explains and well-designed appraisal systems may be subject to human bias and resistance to change. So these two theories effective. The theory of change is suggesting performance improvement initiatives or initiate to be successful. The initial input must lead to the desired output through a clear linear process, but we are aware that bias theory remind us personal subjectivity can distort this process. Please don't forget these challenges, biases, and other things. Challenge is essential for managers to implement regular audits, training, and unbiased evaluations. So in order to continuity of the performance management process, you need to remain fair, you need to update all the time, you need to be clear and adaptive. Obviously, this all of the performance management systems. And I think before we end today's session, please refer back to chapter 8 to review the detailed discussions on each of my topics I go through today. I also encourage you to consult supplementary resources listed in our module Minerva in Ultra. If you wish to deepen your understanding of performance management systems. And thank you for your attention. And let's now open the floor under the thread of the comments, or if you are in the classroom today, to listen your comments. Any question and materials on about these materials, please feel free to jot it down or ask me now. Thank you.